All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Peak of the Beak 8 just concluded, and we have a new winner, which was actually Teledash. So Teledash has gotten second place at YCS Niagara, and now it's gotten first place at the first tournament that it was playable right after, which is crazy because that means this deck is a real threat. This tournament was 109 players, a little bit smaller than the previous Peak of the Beaks have been. Some of them have gotten as many as 150 players, maybe even more than that. I think that around this time, it's like the holiday season, it's also the election season, there's a lot going on. So people might have had a little burnout or maybe just been busy with other things, but yeah, 109 players. I did end up streaming this event, as you guys probably saw on the channel, and that was really awesome. Thank you for everyone who showed out and came to chill with me during that day. That was like an 8 or 9 hour stream. That was probably the longest I've streamed a Yu-Gi-Oh event so far. But yeah, that was really fun. I plan to do more of that type of thing in the future if you guys like it. But why don't we get into these top 16 deck lists? I'm going to speed run some of these because there are a lot of them, and a lot of them are obviously decks that, like, I don't think they need that much of an explanation. You've been playing Edison format or watching it for a while, so we don't need to spend that much time. First up will be this deck list by Soul. It is Black Wings. Again, I'm not going to spend any time on this. You guys see it. It doesn't have anything special about it whatsoever. It's a Blackwing deck. Next up, we have Pana, who got top 16. And now this is spicy. Like, this is actually spicy. It's like an Ancient Gear Machina deck that is doing Injection Fairy Lily. It has Morphing Jar in it, which we did catch him on stream using this against his opponent. And yeah, this deck is very spicy. I've never seen anything like this in Edison format yet that actually worked. So for him to get top 16 with this, I think is worth noting. Maybe it's something that other people can take it and tweak it, make it better or whatnot. But yeah, Cypher Soldier is also an interesting card. So for people who don't know, this card battles a warrior monster. During damage calc, it gains 2000 attack and defense, which means that if you set this against, let's say, Absolute Zero and they attack into it, his defense goes up to 3800, which is fucking insane. So this card is really good against Hero Beat, is really good against Absolute Zero in general. Yeah, pretty cool card, and it's Earth, and it's a machine, so it makes sense with the deck that he is playing. But let's move on. So next up, we have OG, my boy here, winner of RBET New York, the biggest RBET ever, and he decided to play Christia Swarm for the first time, immediately top with the deck, so shout out to him for being able to do that. Yeah, this is based on Pro Storm's deck, so the main deck, if you saw our Teach Me How to Cook video, it's very similar to that, and then he did change up the side deck. But yeah, it's a Christia Swarm deck. It's 40 cards. It's very different from the winner of YCS Niagara, who played 44 and Solar Purity and Light and things like that, which I would say Pro Storm's deck is less of a Christia deck, right? Like, the Christia doesn't come down that much. It's mostly Light Sworn, and Christia is like an option. Whereas I would say the winner of YCS Niagara was a true Christia Sworn deck. It really did summon Christia often, and it played a higher fairy count to make sure that that happened. But here is that list. Moving on, so Mayberry, this is a Value Turbo deck. Again, nothing special whatsoever, so we're just going to move on. Then we have Dino Brat, who was playing Gravekeepers. Yeah, this is interesting. So as far as I know, I don't recall Gravekeepers topping anything in modern Edison, like in the newer last 2 years of the format or whatnot. I did catch a couple of his games on stream. Unfortunately, I don't think they went that well, the ones that I was able to see. But yeah, this is interesting because I don't consider this deck to be good, particularly in Edison format. My opinion of that is not really going to change just because this deck topped this event. I think that it has a lot of flaws, and one of the things I've noticed is that after Royal Tribute, it can kind of struggle to pressure the opponent to end the game, which prevents it from being as ridiculous as it was when I won a YCS with the deck. The pressure that you put on after a tribute back then was like Recruiter into Descendant, which like searches, and it just a lot of damage output, and it's a continuous flow of monsters. The deck kind of doesn't have that without specifically drawing like this card or something. So yeah, oftentimes they'll roll tribute, and even if they take a lot of your cards, it won't pressure you to end the game fast enough, in my opinion. Still a solid deck in terms of like catching people off guard. You know, Necro Valley is really good against Value. He's also doing the Gear Town thing, which makes sense. Like, I feel like if you're going to play Necro Valley, you have to get in with this engine. I also feel like the Terraforming Gear Town engine is just not utilized as much as it could be. I do think that this is a very good engine. Like, these 6 cards, 3 Gear Town, 3 Terraforming, and then you just play some other field spell was actually really good. We've seen Rodnak have success with that when he is playing his frog decks, like Mausoleum Frogs, Black Garden Frogs, whatever. So yeah, this is definitely slept on. Like, I do like this concept of it. I think that if you're going to play GK, you need something else besides just trying to like play straight up Gravekeepers with nothing. All right, moving on. So next up, we have this Machina Control deck. This looks very standard as well. We've seen a deck like this top YCS Raleigh, I'm pretty sure. My boy Steven from Florida used Legacy Yagarasu in his build. I think he did use 3 copies as well. So we've seen this type of deck before. I'm not going to spend too much time on it either. Moving on from that, we have Kat, who is playing what looks like a hybrid Blackwing and Vayu deck. So this is like a real hybrid, because it is playing triple Shura, Kalut, and Bora, and Blizzard, but it's also playing Greffers and Plague and Necroguard Knight and Armageddon Knight. So it's actually real hybrid. Like, this is what I would really refer to as hybrid Blackwings. Also, this person, Cats, they finished first in Swiss. They were 7-0. This is the 7 rounds of Swiss tournament, cut the top 16. And yeah, really solid showing for this hybrid deck. I wonder if this is real. Like, I know Marcus has been talking about this deck for a while, and I feel like it's starting to see success. It also going undefeated in Swiss is pretty good. I'll never know really like if the list is correct or whatnot, but it did perform well on that day. And this might be something that people need to open their eyes for. Like, maybe this is the correct way to play Vayu and Blackwings going forward. Maybe merging the 2 engines and having the broken openings of Whirlwind, Shura, while also the explosiveness of Greffer, Vayu, and Burial and all that stuff in your deck. Maybe that's just actually real. But it's interesting if nothing else, so there's that. Okay, moving on, we have my boy A True Hero, who played Vayu Turbo for the first time. He also was able to top with a new deck, so him and OG both played 2 new decks this event. We were all going to play different decks. Like, I was going to play a fairy deck for this event. Basically, the idea was like, we've already, topped with other decks, and we wanted to see if we could just do it with something else. Both of them succeeded. I ended up streaming the event, and yeah, pretty cool. So he plays Lila and Cold Wave and Card Destruction in his build. That's definitely something that I have not seen before. I've seen Lila. I've never seen Cold Wave and Card Destruction in Vayu Turbo. So definitely something new. We'll have to just see if people actually pick up on this, or if they kind of just feel like it's not that good. You'll have to see if he can do it again, maybe. But he'd probably just go back to like Diva Hero Blackwings. Who knows? But at least someone's out there trying to actually innovate the deck, because I feel like every time I go into the Vayu Turbo channel, the main question happening there is like, how many hamsters do I play? Do we play Chaos Sorcerer and Charger the Light Brigade? Do we play like 1 DDV or 2 DDVs in the main deck? Do we play Solemn Judgment? It's just a lot of the same thing over and over and over again. And so seeing any amount of innovation for this deck at this point, I'm kind of like, all right, cool. Finally something to actually talk about. Whether it's right or wrong, that's not for me, because I personally am not a Vayu player. I don't really care for this deck, as you guys know. I consider it to be very bland, but I think it's also very, very, very good. All right, next up, so now into the top 8. Now this is where things get really interesting. So we have first up the Duck Murderer, who is playing Teledad. So 2 Teledad decks actually made top 8, and one of them won. So this is the zombie one. This one is very similar to the one that got 2nd place at YCS Niagara. Yeah, pretty solid list. I played against this deck and I lost to it. Siding Skill Drain and Trap Stun. A lot of one-offs and stuff like that in the side deck. Siding Solemn Judgment, which, I get it, because it's against half the decks, it's not that good, like against Vayu and Blackwings. And then against like Frogs and stuff like that, this card is very good. Or against decks that play like Solar Recharge and stuff like that, I would Solemn Solar Recharge in a heartbeat. So you definitely want to side it against like trade-in decks and Solar Recharge decks and all that stuff. Frogs, it's like an extra copy of Pulling a Rug or whatnot. But yeah, this deck is scary. It just kind of kills you. He has a replay that I saw where his opponent was at 8,000. And he made a couple monsters, and it went into this card, Ancient Sacred Wyvern, and he killed his opponent at 8,000 life points with Ancient Sacred Wyvern. Basically, it was like Ancient Sacred Wyvern, I think it was Magical Android and maybe a Krebens on the field, and it was just 8,000, like attack, attack, attack. And this guy got really, really big, and I did not see that coming. I don't think his opponent saw it coming either. If I'm at 8,000, I usually feel very comfortable. But yeah, this deck can actually just OTK you from 8,000 with Mind Master tricks. Mind Master plus Malicious actually makes Ancient Sacred Wyvern, so pretty strong. Okay, next up we have Hunter U playing Frog Monarchs. So this is playing what, 1 Lad, double creature swap, double compulse in the main deck. So this is interesting in a way. Like, of course we've seen Frog Monarch decks before, but this exact configuration with like the double creature swap, double compulse, I haven't really seen that, but it's not like some great innovation. I've seen all these cards separately, either in a side deck or main deck of a frog deck. I like this type of frog deck. I've topped with this type of frog deck this year. It does have its problems. When it doesn't see Tremor Frog, it kind of just sucks. But when it does see Tremor Frog, it's one of the strongest decks in the format. You just get kind of steamrolled by the Monarch train. I like playing more copies of this card, but I understand that space is a little bit tight. He had to find defense somewhere, so he's playing 2 battle faders. And then a side deck is just like very basic generic cards that you're used to. And then this trap of a card, I do not like siding this in frog decks, but I understand now when people are siding Kaiku against us that it makes sense more than it ever did to play this card. So my opinion on this is probably changing finally, where I feel like this is better than it's ever been and maybe we should be siding it, but I still have not converted. Okay, next up we have Easy to Slay You playing, what's this, Value Turbo? Yeah, this is a Value Turbo deck. I don't see anything special, so I'm actually just going to move on. Okay, so Duck Tracy, this is also a hybrid Blackwing deck, and it is kind of like the other one we looked at where it plays like Triple Shore, the Whirlwinds, but it's also, so this one plays Raikou. I noticed the other one did not play Raikou, but it does have like Plague and Gardna, and then 1 Blizzard, 1 Bora. So yeah, this deck is catching on. 2 tops already. Wow, and it finished first in Swiss, as we know. But yeah, 5th place with this hybrid Blackwings. This is real hybrid Blackwings. Usually when people say hybrid Blackwings, they were referring to a deck that was literally just a Blackwing deck with 2 Greffers in it. But this, I would say, is actually hybrid Blackwings, because it's like you are playing Raikous with the, like, it's like the value engine with the Blackwing cards like Shore and stuff that you would never see this in actual value decks, right? So pretty cool. I'm probably going to try this deck out on Master and Disaster, or maybe I'll bring Marcus or somebody on for teaching me how to cook, and we could play this deck on ladder or something, because yeah, it must be good. 2 of them topped, 2 Teledad decks topped. I feel like at that point, once you start seeing it over and over again, you kind of can't deny it. So all right, in top 4 we have Salamander playing Machina Control. So this is the other Machina Control deck in Top Cut. This one does not play the draw traps. It's more of a straight up standard list, except that there is a Jinzo in the main deck. At the very worst, you can just pitch this for Machina Fortress. But then this is an amazing conversion for your flip hamster, get Raikou, tributed for Jinzo against trap decks. I can see that being really good. Not much else to say here. Like, it's Machina Control. You guys kind of know how Machina Control operates. It just has a little bit of spice right here, which I do like. I don't mind. And then moving on to top 3. So we have 10-foot playing Hero Frogs. Over the last year or so, he's been a Hero Frog player, and his build is very trap heavy. He likes his traps, which I understand. Traps definitely make people have to play differently. When they see a Deep Prison in the main deck, they're like, well, I don't know how many he plays, so they'll be thinking about that. You see Wing Blast, you're wondering how many discard traps he plays. You see Yada, you're wondering how many draw traps he plays. It's really hard to tell, but all of the good traps are here. Mirror Force Torrential, Dust Shoot, Raigeki Break, like all of those are there, and then he's just adding on like Deep Prison, Yada, Wing Blast. There are no econs in the main deck. I do personally feel like that is a mistake. I think that one of the biggest strengths of Frog decks is that we get to play multiple copies of Brain Control. An econ is just Brain Control. That it has the random option to be defensive as well, which is nice that, you know, you could either use it to win the game or you can use it to stop yourself from losing the game. But yeah, this is also playing the full package of the 5 different heroes. You guys know I'm a big fan of that. I think that all 5 of these are pretty much necessary in their own way. It's like a toolbox. I stand by it. Maining Cyber Dragon, I've not seen that before. I'm not really sure what caused him to feel like he needed to main deck a Cyber Dragon, but maybe it's because DDV is so popular now. He's also playing 2 Swap Frogs, which is something that I also like doing in my list. Like, I play Future Fusion and Dandy, so my list is very spicy, and I cut a Swap Frog to fit that stuff in. But yeah, let me actually check. How many DDV? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he still has a lot of DDV targets. Yeah, I'm not really sure about the Cyber Dragon. Like, I can see things about it that would be good. For example, Cyber Dragon plus Junk Synchron makes level 8s. Obviously, if you play against a deck that, you know, puts a machine on the field like Card Trooper, Value Turbo plays Card Trooper at least. Sometimes they make Catastrophe against you when you have Absolute Zero. Going second, you can summon it and attack a face-down monster. If it's like a Raikou, then you can still do main phase 2 stuff. It's not a bad card by any means. It's just that, like, I'm not sure if Frogs is a deck that needs to main Cyber Dragon, but I've never tried it, so I can't say that it's bad. It's just that it's interesting. Okay, in second place, we have Alex the Man, who is also playing Hero Frogs. So yeah, Hero Frogs really did show out in this tournament. There were 2 of them in Top Cut, and they both made top 3, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, this list, the only thing that I noted was that he's playing double Alias. So he must have felt like not only is DDV a problem, but maybe Glabby's popularity lately has just made him feel like I want to play this card instead of playing Infernal Prodigy, because that's where this would be. This is the spot that you would just have Infernal Prodigy with the full 5. Just playing double Alias instead. I'm not mad at it at all, honestly. I actually spoke highly of Alias in my last run where I got 3rd place at YCS Niagara, because a lot of my games came down to just beatdown mode. Like, I just summoned Stratos, searched Alias, and started attacking my opponent. Like, they would trap dust shoot me or something, and I would be like, all right, activate Rhoda, get Stratos, get Alias, or activate E-Call, get Stratos, get Alias. And I just started attacking. I don't give a fuck about anything. I'm attacking you, I'm setting my Regeki Break, I'm passing, you'll summon a Sirocco or something and attack me, I'll Regeki Break it, draw for turn, summon Alias, crack you. Now you've taken 18, 18, 19, the game is almost over, and I haven't done any of the froggy trick shit yet. I haven't done any Miracle Fusions or Kaises or Econs or anything like that. You're already at less than half your life from just Summon Stratos, basically. So I like the idea of going into beatdown mode, and it almost won him the entire tournament. He did get 2nd place. In the side deck, he has the Hino Kagasuchi, and I think that the most crazy thing I've seen here is that in his side deck, he's siding triple Light Mirror. Now, I know that light decks are popular now. Niagara had the Valhalla Fairy deck that I had to play in top 8, and then the deck that won was Christius Warren. So I get it. You know, right now, light decks are very popular. I think that there were a lot of people playing Lightsworn-like decks in Pika to Beak 8, but siding a continuous trap in frogs just seems crazy to me. Like, it's just not that deep to me, but you know, he got 2nd with it. I don't know how often he sided this in and how often it actually helped him. But yeah, this is where we are. We're in a place where Light Mirror is being sided in frogs. So don't be surprised now if you start seeing people side continuous traps in frogs going forward. Like, if you see frog players siding Imperial Iron Wall against Value, maybe not Hero Frogs, but maybe Dream Frog sides that card or something. I don't know. It's just that seeing this and seeing it get so far, like he almost won the tournament basically, right? Like he got all the way to the finals. Seeing that, it kind of opens the door for other things to happen, but people might be shooting themselves in the foot. I don't know. I will not be doing this anytime soon. I personally don't even feel the need to test it. I'll leave that to you guys. If you guys want to test it and tell me, hey, I've been playing this continuous trap card in my frog deck and it's been working for me, then by all means, I'm all ears, but I have very limited time, so I don't really get to test anyway. And next up we have, so I don't know how you say his name, but yeah, this guy, and he won with Teledad. And this build is very different from the one that got 2nd at YCS Niagara. It's not playing the zombie engine except Spirit Reaper, and it's also playing Destiny Hero Defender and like D-Draw, double gold Sarcophagus, which I can see how this would help the deck to be more consistent, because one of the things that happened when me and Kenny played it is that it can draw some hands that are like, it's missing a piece to do an OTK or whatever. So this bridges the gap, and this guy allows you to kind of stall out. You can pay 100 life points when you are attacked, and it negates the attack. So getting to 2 turns after Gold Sarcophagus with Crevens is actually not a hard thing to accomplish. Double Armageddon Knight, really good card in general. He has Malicious and Plague and Garden to send, and also sending these guys is really good because you have the double telekinetic power well. But yeah, super solid deck. It might be here to stay. I mean, it just got 2nd and 1st. I can't stress that enough. That is very impressive for a deck to basically go from not doing much of anything in 2024 to just like winning a tournament and getting 2nd at a tournament, one online and one in real life, back to back. That is very impressive for a deck to do. So, but yeah, this is your top 16. That was a speed run if I ever did one. Let's check some stats down here. So the most played card in the main deck was Bottomless Trap Hole. I find that to be crazy. Usually the most played card in the main deck is D Prison, but this tournament it was Bottomless Trap Hole. So do with that what you will. 2nd was D Prison, Sirocco. So that means that there were a lot of Blackwing and Value players in this tournament. Then you have Caius, Raiko, Heavy, Mare Force, and like stuff like that. Value, Dust True Brain Control, these are staples. The most common side deck card for this tournament was Dust Tornado. Then DD Crow, Cyber Dragon. So DD Crow and Cyber Dragon are always top 5, right? That just makes sense. Fossil Dyna's up there, Royal Oppression pulling the rug. Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, 60 copies. So Kaiku is everywhere now. So this is the best time to actually play Burial. So that is a fact. Like on the topic of Burial and Frogs, Kaiku's everywhere now. Makes sense. Vanity's Fiend, Mask or Strict, Deck Heavy. So Mask or Strict being in the top 10 most sided cards now is crazy, because this card literally, like, I don't know, 6 months ago was actually not sided at all. But because Dream Frogs got created and Stun Frog Monarchs and stuff like that became popular, Mask or Strict is back. So, and somehow Frogs still are prevailing through it all. getting really high placements at tournaments regardless. But yeah, lots of hate. If you look at most side deck cards, they're kind of geared towards frogs. Fossil Dyna, Oppression, Pulling the Rug, Haiku, Vanity's Fiend, Massacre Strike, DDV, Crow to some degree. Most of these cards are just anti-frog cards, to be honest. So lots of anti-frog meta still going on. Main deck DDVs and stuff like that, even though DDV is not in the top 10 most played main deck cards, but I'm not surprised because this also keeps track of things that are just like staples. So, and why don't we just quickly watch the finals? Because I thought that this was, I mean, it's really fast. You guys are going to see how this deck functions. This is the Teledad deck. You're going to see exactly how quickly things can go south with this deck. Summon Stratos, search Malicious. He's just going to allure, banish Armageddonite, pass. So Alex immediately goes for a burst out of a Caius, and that gets him Gores, which is really bad here. This is literally game. Well, not making this. It would have been game if he made, like, I think Colossal Fighter is game here. Yeah, because he lived it. Oh wait, it's actually game with this. So Colossal Fighter would have been 28 because there are no warriors in the grave. So Colossal Fighter would have been 28. So okay, this makes sense because Colossal Fighter is in game, and I don't remember if he plays Red Dragon Archfiend. Actually, let me check. Does he play Red Dragon? Okay, Red Dragon is in there. So Red Dragon is game in this situation, but because he has the telekinetic power well, he can go into this to kind of play around Gores. So that if he did have Gores, he's like, he has to drop it early, and then he could attack over one of them and then darken the other one, and you know, that whole thing. So this is really good. Like, this guy, he knows how to play his deck way better than I do. I'm not a Teledad player by any means, but yeah, this is an OTK on his first battle phase. So GG right there. And then game 2, so Frogs gets to go first. This is not a good hand. There's no Treeborn access. Very fragile opening with the Dupe Frog. And then we have Stratos get Malicious again, attack into face down. I'm not really sure if there's a reason to attack Frog face downs turn 1, honestly. I think about this all the time. Like, you kind of know that it's either Treeborn Frog, which will just come back, or it's Dupe Frog. And I'd rather, if it's a Dupe Frog, I want them to have to flip it into attack mode if they want to, like, dupe block me in a weird way or something like that. So, I don't know. Attacking it always just was interesting. De-draw into the second Malicious really fucking sucks. And now Vanity's Fiend came down. It's going to be a pretty rough game for Teledad, for sure. Yeah, Fossil Dyna getting beat over by Alias. And now that I know that he plays 2 Alias, Fossil Dyna is really bad against this particular build of Hero. I think it's bad against Hero Frogs in general, to be honest, unless you literally kill us with it. Like, if you win the game that turn, and sure, it's fine, but there's so many outs to this card, and Alex is playing multiple. So game 2, really quick, despite Alex's not so great opening hand. Okay, set Treeborn. So this hand is fine. Like, I'm not going to complain about this hand. Vanity's Fiend attack, right? Because there's seemingly no back row, so you're just like, all right, if you're not going to do anything. Yep, pitch Sengardna, and then set a lot of back row. So this is one of those games where, like, if Alex just has Heavy Storm, the game will be a little bit easier because he has to Solomon, and then, like, you Rhoda for Stratos. You got, like, 1-for-1 plays and stuff like that. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. So summon Stratos here, that gets bottomless because his goal is to Caius this, so he needs to Gardna the attack. So this makes sense. He's going to Gardna here. Yeah, has teleport, has the Caius. So get rid of Vanity's Fiend, that's step 1. Get deprisoned. So things look good. I'm actually surprised he didn't go for, I guess he's going to go for 1-for-1, like main phase 2. Let's see. Yeah, 1-for-1 main phase 2. Okay, so he got in some damage real quick, and now he's going to go into like a dupe situation. Now, how do I feel about ending on just one? He didn't dump. Okay, he did not dump another swap frog. So there's another swap frog in deck, if I'm not mistaken, like unless he sided one out. But there's another swap frog in deck. There's probably a Unifrog, and there is probably, there's another substitute also. So he kind of just stopped here. I don't know. I feel like I want a full dupe lock with Ocean. But let's see. He's not getting anything back either, which kind of sucks. So this Ocean is just like a beater, like literally just a beater. All right, searches the swap frog from deck, so Mirror Force, okay. Get Solemn on Mageki Break. This is a crazy reversal. Like the Solemn on Mageki Break into the Fossadine off the top. And that's gonna be really bad. Also, this Darken is huge. Like it's actually able to attack over dupe frogs and stuff, substitutes and all that. But yeah, this is quite the turn of events. Is it looked like he was in control, and then the Solemn plus Dyna combo was just, it was honestly crazy. It's exactly what he needed. So yeah, this is a good set, and congrats to the Teledad player, Dries, I'm gonna just say is your name, I'm not really sure, but congrats to you, congrats to Alex on getting second, congrats to everybody who topped this event, and with that guys, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.